sent away. And I'm like, why would y'all take this? What they ever gave us something for free? If that was the case, nobody would have cancer. Like they killing us with convenience, man. So, they create a situation and then try to act like they the saviors by putting a worse situation in front of us, but it looks good because we already in dire need from the situation they put us in the first time.
Right.
So as a community, and I love what you fellas are doing. I wanna get y'all social media when we finish, but I love what y'all doing. But as a community, like we have to try to build up our community to try to have our own growing food and stuff like that just for our community.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because a lot of people when you try to talk when we try to have those conversations with people that's not like us, it's kind of hard, and they don't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like you trying to tell them, oh man, so it's kind of hard to touch other black folks like this.
Well,
So
what our premise, oh, my bad, brother.
No, go ahead. You fine.
What I think our premise is at this point in honor is to, just like the government we have now, they came in and they did other things. We can get into the history and other shows, but they came and set up the government and gave us the welfares and all the other stuff that we have now, and our people run with it, right? Because there's a necessity that they need there. I think we need to personify that same effort. That everybody's not going to understand the things we're talking about. Everybody's not going to be able to get these things. It's going to go over their head, right? But that doesn't mean that those of us who do, we need to start stepping into that level of political engagement and having our own government and providing these institutions for our people, providing the farms for our people. The education is good, but we got to step away now from the education in the debating stage and showing up and telling with these institutions. And it's not enough no more to just talk about it. And we have the ability, and the stuff is right in front of us.
Yeah. I mean, and you're absolutely right. But I also watch the culture of the people. It's a lot of right now, especially with the president. It's a lot of race baiting. Whole race baiting. I don't even know the right words to use, and I say that because Robert F. Kennedy. I go back to him. He was telling the black young lady that's in Congress. He was trying to explain to her about the vaccines and autism and black kids and white kids. Mm-hmm. And she totally flipped it on him, trying to make it seem like he was being racist on telling her the difference when he was really trying to help us.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're talking about the sister who responded, who was on Congress.
Yeah, he was trying to explain to her the difference in the effects of autism on black kids and white kids, and why, you know what I'm saying? She went into a whole race thing, and it's just hard times trying to convince people that it's like a whole propaganda agenda that's going on now that's just got people all over the place. And when you try to, I don't know how to say give them knowledge, because that's what they, they say, oh, you're trying to, but they have to unlearn and learn and then relearn and unlearn. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just so hard. It's hard now because we really divided. Like it's so much stuff that they do. They got us in like 10 different places, and
the key is.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. I was going to say the key is depolarizing, because I think we live in a super polarized world where things are black and white. They're one thing or the other. So if you're on one side, if somebody says something that challenged your paradigm, then they have to be the enemy. So I think the key to when we talk about like getting our people on board is we have to depolarize our people. So it can't just be, if I'm on this side, then anything that challenges what my perspective is has to be the enemy, and I have to shun away from it. And I think we can't underestimate the power of small group and growth. So although in our neighborhoods, we may not find like a super big support, like the notion of like going viral with these type of things, we can't underestimate what being consistent and regularly showing up does, because somebody near you, somebody's watching. People are always watching. And unfortunately, people do follow trends and they watch. They want to, make sure something's valid first. And as long as we consistently show up, it's a proximity thing as well. So the same way when we talk about like colonialism, proximity is what allowed a lot of our foodways to be corrupted, because if they're bringing in beef, they're importing chicken, they're importing dairy, and we're living next to them and they're encroaching on our land. All of a sudden, okay, it's okay to try what they're trying. It's okay, it's okay. And all of a sudden, over time, those things get taken over. So proximity can work the opposite way as well. So if our people are taken over with these foreign perspectives and how we eat or how we behave, if we show our devotion, right, or discipline, because I like to play between the notion of discipline and devotion, the same way we are considered disciplined in the way we eat or the way we carry ourselves, we can also consider that a level of devotion. So if somebody's like, yo, that person is really devoted to what they're doing, let me ask more questions. Let me, see what that perspective is. So proximity and reversing that trend of like, instead of the negative affecting, we can allow the positive to affect and depolarize our people. I think those are like two major keys. It's like depolarizing us, pulling us away from the extremes, closer towards the middle, and then also just, really pushing, even if you feel like it's just you or it's just a small group of people. Never underestimate, even if it look like they ignoring you. They may say, "Oh, get out of my face," but they kind of, they still looking. People are,
Mhm.
they don't want to show support at the beginning, and that's just human nature. But that's not an excuse for us to, not keep pushing.
Absolutely.
And one more thing too is that I think it's tremendously underestimated how much a lot of our community has been groomed into gatekeeping. And so there's been a lot of institutions that are still in place today that have groomed, those who are in positions of influence and power to keep us at a certain level of thinking. And some of those institutions, I'm not sure if y'all have discussed this before, are associated and fall underneath the category of the Black Boule, right? A lot of our Greek fraternal organizations and things of that nature are pretty much fitting that category where, you have this front of like, things for the community, but most people don't know that all of the founders of these various fraternal organizations made a pledge to uphold white supremacy back in the 20s. And so it's like, you know, this is just also another angle and perspective that, we have to be able to be mindful of, and like also in our approach, because like the sister and so many other people who were in position, when we bring certain perspectives and narratives to them, uh, unconsciously they're defending and diverting, the conversation from the actual, meaningful turning point of progress. And that's a part of some of their codes and their values is to divert and to keep things on a certain track.
Very true.
All right, so we done covered a part of the eating. We done covered a part of the laws. So what do you guys feel about the exercise, or the workout part to get us generated so we can act, so that we can see the benefits from what we eat? How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, well, it's very much a cultural value in our society and in our tribal government. One thing we mentioned was about it being a standard and customary for us to participate in a monthly fast that takes place generally like the last Tuesday of every month. But in addition to us having to report that, we completed the fast or not, we also have what we call a monthly rites of passage through training, where our men and our women have to either walk or run a mile. We have to do 300 jumping jacks, 100 push-ups, and 500, jump ropes. And so that's something that we have to report on, monthly. And so if we take the average family, Black American family, and we just set that as a standard, like the household, or just say your family. If you look at your family, those who come to family gatherings, um, if you could throw out a percentage, how many do you think, those who are in the 20s all the way up to the 70s are able to just do these basic movements and exercises? And so, what does that look like for you and your family? Like, who's able and who's not?
Not too many people, that's able to do it. And what I'm saying, I guess I'm 51 now, so I'm probably, there's a few of us. I ain't gonna say there ain't too many, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of us is more health conscious. We got a couple in my family. We got a couple vegetarians, a couple pescatarians, and a couple people that work out regularly. I myself used to work out regularly. I'm starting my routine back again here soon, but I see it's an effort. It's like you said, it's a collective effort, and at first it's an individual effort too.
Right. And then
So
to Minister Basir's point is like when the discipline that you're instituting in yourself from the outside looking in, it looks like a devotion, and that devotion becomes a point of inspiration. When your family members are seeing you consistently, do your health regimen, working out or going for a walk. And that's the other thing, when it comes to exercise, one of the most healthiest forms of exercise is just walking. So if we could just get out and walk, at least 2 or 3 times a week for at least 30 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, that alone in itself would do so much for our family members, before we get to all of the other movements, with push-ups and jumping jacks and jumping rope.
If I could add to the relationship thing we Donnie was saying earlier, it even starts the whole, like, let's walk together, right? If it's your wife, or if it's your children, whatever the case may be, right? They start to watch your discipline. It gives them permission to change, because we can't tell or just make people change, but we give them permission by watching and seeing us go through that actual process. So it's taken years for me, but people ask me that all the time, from my family, and they still not in the tribe yet, but they have made changes. Everybody in my family eat purple cabbage now, and they love purple cabbage, right? And they get why they should eat it. People love eating bison when I bring it for Thanksgiving, or when I bring it to the cookouts, right? Like they're slowly making those changes and having the permission to say, I understand what you're doing. So,
So we got a comment from one in the chat say, Gregory English 2925 say, what is your opinion, Planet Wells? Can they be talked down? Well, I don't know what he meant by talk down. Well, I guess he's saying, what is your opinion, Planet Wells, on this situation here?
Well, I think I've said, but I'll make it perfectly clear. I'm in total agreement with what our guests are saying. So I don't feel to interrupt when pure, intelligent knowledge is being shared. If I feel to say something, I'll say something.
Right.
I've been on the planet for a while, and I have my rules.
So I like the information that we're sharing with our people, you guys here, and we got a very active chat here. We got a lot of people talking, a lot of, especially about this conversation about the food ways and what we should eat, and the things that our chat members has been through. So, Mr. Tony Livingston, could you want to add something?
Yes, sir. To the comment we have on the screen right now, Big Mom Baby One. It's a very good point that she's making. Boycott DoorDash, go back to cooking, and serve love on your plates. And so, if we take things into account and just looking at the industry of DoorDash, it's like a multi-billion-dollar industry that exists mostly because families are no longer grounded enough to prepare meals for their own home, right? Because the society that we're in right now, the society that they have us connected into, has us so busy that, we can't even prepare meals for our families. And when we look at the condition of the Black family in America, and we see how broken it is and how, disoriented it is in a lot of cases, more than not, part of the reason why is because there's this essence of chemistry that starts in the kitchen that has been removed, from our cooperation together. And so, when you have families cooking together, feeding their own children, sharing dishes and meals together as amongst a community, the whole value system is completely different to what we have today. But, based on what we have today, because our values are so disconnected uh, from being, internally driven amongst our community, there's multi-billion-dollar companies like DoorDash able to exist because of this.
Illness with convenience.
Yeah. So
Killing us with
so
convenience.
so the viewer said, so you can serve love on the plate,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, how would you do that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, to me, that would have something to do with your intention
Mm-hmm.
and your concentration on preparing, because you realize preparing food for someone is actually a sacred act.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
you
is.
want to put that intention in the food, right? Now, you may be in a situation where you cannot get the organic food uh, readily. That may be a process that you have to learn and seek out and da 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 da. Da. But whatever food it is, if you're in a situation where you are serving that, don't serve it out of a habit of just, well, I've got to do this. I've just got to get put some intention in it, right? Put put some love in it, because these are your friends or your family or your children. Consciously be present when you're making whatever,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And the thing is the indigenous people that I'm referring to had a great connection to the land, because they saw the land and them as interchangeable family, right? So they related to the sacredness of life. So even if you're in a situation where, whatever, you got roaches in your house, okay? Now, on the cleanliness tip, you very well have to take them out, but don't do it automatic. Know that the same life that is going through you is going through that roach. So you may have to take it out, but have some reverence. So indigenous people, when they were seeking food and hunting, they always honored the animal that they had to take out,
Mm-hmm.
right? Well, that's that intention, okay? And I would posit that that's also love, that
Mm-hmm.
you really, you know what I mean? So we get away from, because, people, a lot of times people pray, over the food and everything like that. But if you look closely, you'll see, a lot of times that's just habit.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really putting that presence into it, because that presence is magical. Okay. And we clearly need a magical sensibility because we are a magical people if we go back in the history. And that's what I say, that the road of history is to lead you to the mystery. And within that mystery is the sacred or the divine, how
Mm-hmm.
whatever words you want to use.
Right.
Yeah. So Minister Jael and Bashar she on this show we've been practicing this thing called stillness, and Minister Belong could tell you about this stillness that we've been practicing, and Planet Wells has been leading this stillness that we've been practicing in us and our viewers. So Planet Wells, you can go ahead and start your thing.
Okay. So, you know, basically, uh, when one looks at oneself, right, and one says, well, damn, how did I get to this party? And I shouldn't have been here. Or in terms of the relationships we were talking about, why did I say that? And, or all of those types of things, right? And what you find is your knee didn't do it. Your elbow didn't do it. Your shoulders didn't do it. What did it? Your thought did it. Your thought did it. And by habit, you just do whatever pops into your head. Often, that invariably gets you into serious problems, right? So, what we do with this little introduction to stillness, because I know how busy it is. People have to survive. People got to go here. They got so much stuff, right? So, what we do is we do a short invitation into stillness. So it doesn't matter what religion you are. I got those chops, but I'm not really interested in none of that. Okay? Because when you came here, you didn't have none of that. So when you came here, you came from a source.
Mm-hmm.
And that source was ultimate stillness, which is ultimate possibility. So I invite you to, we use a little bell here. All right? And what we say is simply follow the tone. It's not, it's not your ears, right? You get the tone. You you bring it into yourself, right? And you may find yourself even sinking into that, right? But it's you. This ain't spooky, nothing like that. I'm just saying, look, we got a bell. We're gonna follow the sound as deep as we can. That's it. Nothing heavy. Okay? All right, let's try it. All right, so if we could take a deep breath and hold it for 3-4 seconds and blow it out, and we'll do that 2 times. Okay, so let's hold it in. We'll blow it out. Okay. Just concentrate on the sound. and blessings. Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
for
peace and
sharing the stillness. And our brother Horace that's on the road, Horace the Fourth, and our brother Mafia Shakur.
yes, yes.
Uh, we're sending you all our good intentions and good vibes. And I want to thank you, brothers, for taking this moment and sending that true kindness to our people who have been through so much by putting that moment of silence out there, right? Because you see, when you talk about things like love and you talk about things like kindness and you talk about things, well, before those actions manifest, they come from an invisible world. And the gateway to that invisible world is silence. Now, we often use these different words and different this and different that. But the bottom line is it all comes from this silence of unlimited potential. So when the invaders or the colonists, whatever name you want to say, they took that away from you first. That was the first thing they took away. Because, it could be that they were jealous of. I don't know what, I can't get into their psychology, but I do know what they took away. So we are attempting to do what we can to bring ourselves back to that.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So tonight, brothers, we had a good show tonight. I want to leave you guys, each one of you guys can leave a final word and shout out you guys as ancestors if you want to, your family and friends. We start with Minister Belong.
Yeah, special thank you and shouts out to all my family, my friends, uh, to my fallen loved ones. That I missed off from my grandma Hinton last time, so I want to make sure I throw that energy out to her. I think I missed my Cookie last time, and any of my friends, family members, who I did miss in between that. Just send love to them and just peace to them as well. Ashe.
I say.
Ashe.
So it was a good show tonight, you guys. Usually we had Horace Lee the Fourth on here to give all the salutes to all of our ancestors. But tonight we're gonna do a little something different here. We're gonna leave it right here with the bell. Cause Horace, Planet Well, could you give us one more ring on the
Certainly.
bowl? And then we're gonna leave it. This is for the ones that are on the panel members that's not here. It's Mafia Shakur and Horace Lee the Fourth, and all our family members that's in all our audience out here, our
Ashe.
viewers.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the show for the guys tonight. We'll be coming back this Sunday at 8 p.m. and Have a good night, family. Peace.
Peace, peace.
Peace.
Blessings,
So, yeah.
blessings. Okay.
Peace, family.